Good morning, beta. Take your seats. Take your seats. So we were dealing with the topic uh, origin and evolution of amphibia. So let's have a recap of so far what we have studied. So what we studied that the class amphibia. Now, first of all, you should be aware that there is a methodology to deal with such type of question. And the methodology is that you have to draw the evolutionary tree along with the geological time scale. That is the way, whether it is the origin of amphibia or reptilia or birds or mammalia. But you should be in the end of your answer. There should be and there must be a evolutionary tree. But how you will draw the evolutionary tree until or unless you don't know the classification. So first of all, you have to understand the classification and not the classification of present day amphibians, but those who are get extinct. So our emphasis will be on those who are get extinct. So far we have studied that the class amphibia is divided into 4 subclasses. The name of subclasses are Labyrinthodontia, Nepospondyli, Phylospondyli, and Lysamphilia. Very good. Okay. The Labyrinthodontia means that they have a labyrinthine fold. What is labyrinthine fold? That there is a transfer inversion of outer side enamel to provide strength to the inner dentine, the soft dentine. Hence, they are called as a Labyrinthodontia, the teeth with the labyrinthine fold. Okay. Then the next class was the Lepospondyli. Lepo means scale and spondyli means vertebrae. That they have a vertebrae which are scaly vertebrae, that they have a notochord, and notochord is in process of converting into the vertebral column. It is in process, and they have a scale type vertebrae. So there is a ossification on the notochord and it is in the form of scale. Hence Lepospondyli, scale vertebrae. Then the third subclass is Phylospondyli, where there is a ossification in the form of leaves. Leafy vertebrae. Got my point? And then we have a present day amphibian which is called as a Lysamphibia. Lysamphibia means smooth amphibia. They have a smooth skin. They don't have scales. Rest all other groups, whether it is a Labyrinthodontia or Lepospondyli or Phylospondyli, have a dermal scale. Now the presence of scale is what? A fish character. Lysamphibia, present day amphibian, don't have scales except one group, one order, which is called as a what? Apoda, which is also called as a Gymnophiana. They have a scale, but scale are deeply embedded in the skin. Okay. Then in the Labyrinthodontia, we divided into orders. The first is Ichthyostega. The first was Ichthyostega. Ichthyo means, fish type, and Stegalia means roofing. So they have near about skull like the fish. And in that category, we are studying the Tiktaalik rosier, the fishapod, the connecting link between the fish and the tetrapod. And we have studied that this fossil in a great detail. Then the second one was the Acanthostega that we have to study today. Today it will be going to a very busy class. You have to draw many diagrams. So we keep on drawing one after one. One fossil, then another fossil, first Acanthostega, then Ichthyostega, then we will try to draw Ventostega, then we will come to the next, which is called as a Temnospondyli. Temnospondyli. Write down Temnospondyli. So temno means divided. Spondyli means vertebrae. Divided vertebrae. So basically, there are two centrum, deep hypocentrum, and the plurocentrum. So in the vertebrae of the Temnospondyli, there will be two centrum. The vertebrae is divided into two centrum, the hypocentrum and the plurocentrum. And this condition is called as diplospondyli. This condition is called as a diplospondyli. So the name of order is Temnospondyli. And this temnospondyli is divided into suborders. This temnospondyli is divided into suborders. There are three suborders: the rachitomi, the stereospondyli, and the embelomeri. So write down rachitomi. Rachitomi, stereospondyli, and embelomeri. So this order temnospondyli is divided into three suborder. The suborder rachitomi, the suborder stereospondyli, and the suborder embelomeri. This rachitomi, raki means what? And this tomy means what? Stereo means what? What is the meaning of stereo? And spondyli, as we all know, stand for the vertebrae. And what is the meaning of embelomeri? We will get the meaning of each and every word. So write down rachitomi means, raki means vertebrae again. Raki means vertebrae. Tomy means cut. So this is a cut vertebrae. Now these animals are also called as a stem animals. Rachitomi is also called as stem animals. Why they are called as stem animals? Because out of this group, this suborder rachitomi, there is a divergence for the higher, higher amphibians. So this in itself is not a crown group, but from the rachitomi, the higher amphibians, like the present day amphibians, start developing. Okay, so this is also called as a stem animals. And because they are the evolutionary ancestor of modern day amphibians, they are evolutionary ancestor of modern day amphibians. That's why they are also called as stem animals. And the example is Ariops and Pocops. Ariops and Pocops. These are huge amphibians. They are huge amphibians, about 5 feet, 5 to 6 feet long, like a 5 feet, 6 feet long frog and toad in front of you. So they become enlarged because the amphibians, the age of the fishes is called as a Devonian. In the Devonian, these labyrinthodon species start appearing. Then during the Carboniferous, there is a period which is called as a Carboniferous period. The Carboniferous period is the period of plenty. There was plenty to eat for the amphibians. Okay, in the Carboniferous period, the land was inhabited by the gymnosperms, huge gymnosperm, big gymnosperm. And because of the warm and humid, the climate was warm and very humid, frequent rainfall. The climate was warm and humid, rainy, and covered by forest. Forest of what? Not angiosperm. Forest of huge and large forest. The whole earth is covered with the forest of gymnosperms and pteridophytes. So lot of things to eat. There was a period of Carboniferous period was the period of plenty. So huge amount of large number of species of insects and other arthropods and spiders and many annelids, mollusks, the land mollusks, garden mollusks, like that. They all coming in a huge number in the on the land, and these amphibians get a chance to feed upon this food that was available in the plenty. So they keep on eating so much so that they become huge. They become very, very huge. So Ariops and Cocops, we will draw their diagram also. 5 feet long toad, because they were the only predator at that time. They have plenty to feed upon, but there was no one to feed upon them. So they develop a strong labyrinthine teeth, because now they have a complete new territory to explore. Now they start coming on the land and actually, like a true predator, start killing these insects. Got my point? So they become huge. The example is Ariops and Cocops. Then the next is Stereospondyli. What is the meaning of stereo? Any one of you, if you can tell me? You heard this name, stereo. You know, stereo sound. So stereo means round. Stereo means round or solid. If there is something which is round, it can also be solid. Round. R-O-U-N-D. R-O-U-N-D. Round. And spondyli, as you all know, is stand for vertebrae. So this is vertebrae. Stereospondyli, having the round vertebrae. And the example is, write down, Butneria. Example is Butneria. You should remember each and every name. You have to write these names in the examination. Butneria. B-U-T-T-N-E-R-I-A. Butneria. Again, a huge amphibian, 6 to 7 feet long. Just, imagine in your mind, 6 feet long amphibian. More than your height. It was such a huge amphibian. So much so that we can say the Butneria is the largest amphibian we ever come across in the entire history of the earth. So Butneria. And then the last suborder is Embellomeri. Embellomeri. Embellomeri means both centrum. So both centrum is present, the hypocentrum and the plurocentrum. Write down, both hypocentrum and plurocentrum is present and become the disc shaped. And the example is, write down the example. Remember, these are the name of the animal species. Ariops, Cocops, fossil species, Butneria. These are very, very important. You have to draw the diagram. Very soon we will draw the diagram. Butneria. And then the example of Embellomeri is Eogyrannus. Eogyrannus. Do you know what is the meaning of Eo? This is very interesting. Listen, there is a one word which we call as Eohippus. Eohippus. Have you ever come across? Don't you study this the evolution of horse? So the evolution of horse start from the Eohippus. Eo means dawn. Dawn, जिसको अपन कहते हैं ना सूर्योदय, है ना? In Hindi we say सूर्योदय. So the starting point is the dawn point and the end point of day is the dusk, है ना? जिसको गोधूली बेला कहते हैं अपन, ठीक है? So Eohippus. So what is the meaning of Eo? Eo means dawn. Write down. Eo means starting point or the dawn. And Gyrannus means tadpole. So this is the beginning of the tadpole. So Eogyrannus. So this is again a extinct species that we have to draw the diagram. They are very, very important. Eogyrannus. Why this embellomary or the Eogyrannus is important? Because they give rise to present day Anthracosaurida. They give rise to Anthracosaurida, which is also called as Cotyledonsauria, whose example is C. moria, which is the ancestor and true representative of the, the connecting link between the reptile and the amphibia. And the evolution and origin of reptile start from the Anthracosaurida or Cotyledonsauria. There we call it as a Cotyledonsauria. So from C. moria it will start. So this is order Temnospondyli. The Temnospondyli is divided into Rachitomi, Stereospondyli and Embellomary. They all are almost, very huge. Ariops, Cocops, because they have plenty to eat. Then Butneria, one of the largest amphibian ever existed. And then this Embellomary, which is the, starting of the dawn of the tadpole. Got my point? Now come to the third order of the what? Labyrinthodontia. Labyrinthodontia is divided into Ichthyostega, then Temnospondyli, which we have studied, Temnospondyli, and the next is Anthracosaurida. So write down Anthracosaurida, and below the Anthracosaurida, write down they give rise to Reptilia. They give rise to Reptilia, and the example is C. moria, black lizard. C. moria. C. moria. Now come to the Lipospondyli. Now come to the Lipospondyli. Where is the duster? Here it is. The Lipospondyli means what? Yes. The notochord is in process of ossification, and the ossification around the notochord is in the form of scale. Hence, it is called as a Lipospondyli. So write down Lipospondyli. Lipospondyli. Lipo means scale. Spondyli means vertebrae. And the example is Diplocolus. Diplocolus. The example is Diplocolus. And they give rise to present day apoda. They give rise to present day apoda. So they are the direct ancestor of present day apoda group, which is also called as Caecilians, limbless amphibian, Ichthyophis, Urotyphus. All these are example of Caecilian, limbless amphibian, also called as Gymnophiana. Gymnophiana. So they give rise to present day amphibians. Example is Diplocolus. So we will study this fossil, Diplocolus. This is very, very interesting. Its head shape is like a boomerang. Do you know what is boomerang? Yes. ऐसा होता है ना, हम उसको फेंकते हैं, we throw it and it come back because of its size, its pattern is like that wing strike to its wings, the wind strike to its wings and it come back. Okay, so its head is like that. That's why it is called as a Diplocolus, something like double head. Then next is called as what? Phylospondyli. Write down Phylospondyli. Phylospondyli. Phyllo means what? Leaf. Spondyli means what? Vertebrae. So leaf-like vertebrae. The ossification around the notochord is in the form of leaves. So spondyli means vertebrae. And the example is, very famous example is Brachiosaurus. Example is Brachiosaurus. Brachiosaurus. But then write down below it, this is very important, that this phylospondyli, example Brachiosaurus, look like a giant tadpole. Look like a giant tadpole larva of some labyrinthodontia. And falsely put here in this category. Do you know there is something which is called as a hemichordata?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Previously it was thought that it is a chordata. But right now, in the light of recent trends of the evolution, we know that this is not a notochord. This is basically a stomochord, the mere extension of buccal diverticulum. Hence, although it was put along the protochordates, but now it is replaced. And there is a separate phylum which is called as a phylum hemichordate. So same situation is with this phylospondyli. We found the fossil, but later on we found that this is not an animal, this is not a species, but this is actually the larval stage of some labyrinthodon, and falsely put here. So phylospondyli, an example we have Brachiosaurus. Got my point? Then the next class is Lys amphibia, which is the present day amphibians. We will not study the Lys amphibia in detail. Why? Because our main focus is on the fossilized specimens, fossilized species. But we will touch it. So write down Lys amphibia. Lys amphibia, or what is the meaning of lys? Smooth. So they are the smooth amphibian because they are devoid of the scale. What is the meaning of amphibia? Amphi means both, bia means life, bios, both type of life, that they are enjoying both type of life, the life on the land and the life on the water. And this present day Lys amphibia is, you can write extinct in all the group. So far you have studied all the Rachitomi and Stereospondyli and Embelomeri and Temnospondyli and Anthroposauria and Ichthyostega, all are extinct. Keep on writing extinct, extinct, extinct. This is the only present day amphibian, because after the Carboniferous period there was a Permian period, and in the end of Permian there was a mass extinction which is called as Permian mass extinction. It is called as Permian mass extinction. Which is mother of all extinction. The Permian mass extinction is the mother of all extinction. So much so that about 90% of all the species ever lived were wiped out. So, in the Permian mass extinction, all the Rachitomi, the Ariops, the Cocops, the Butneria, the Anthroposauria, the Tiktaalik roseae, the Ichthyostega, Acanthostega, Ventostega, all are wiped out. All are got extinct because of the mother of all extinction, which is called as a Permian mass extinction. But few amphibians get survived in the form of group, which is called as a Lys amphibia, which is also called as a smooth amphibian, and it is divided into this subclass. Lys amphibia is divided into orders, and the three orders are present day order are Apoda, Urodilla, and Anura. What is the name of three orders? These are orders. These are orders. Apoda, Urodilla, and Anura. This is also called as Gymnophiana. Gymno means naked. Gymnophiana. This is also called as Chordata. Listen, Euro means tail. What is the meaning of Euro? Euro means tail. Dilla means that they are possessing the tail. They are also called as a tailed amphibian. They are tailed amphibian. Tailed amphibian, or also called as a Chordata, or you can say Urodilla, and this is called as a Gymnophiana, or you can say limbless, no limb. And this group is called as tailless amphibian. Tailless amphibian. You know, if Ura means tail, listen, this is very important. If Ura means tail, then the Anura means tailless. The tail is absent. A stand for absent. And hence they are called as a tailless amphibian. So they are elongated, snake-like, but they are not snake. Snakes are in Ophidia, in reptilia. And they are blind. They don't have eyes. They are worm-like or snake-like, limbless amphibian, and they are blind. They coil around the eggs for the parental care. The Ichthyostega. The example of apoda is Ichthyostega. The example is Ichthyostega. It coil around the eggs for the parental care. Then there is also which is called as Urotiflus. Urotiflus are also called as what? Sicilians. So many names. Call them as a apoda, or call them as limbless amphibian, or call them as a Sicilian, or call them as a Gymnophiana. You may be confusing. You are getting confusing from this spelling, but they are called as a Sicilians. Okay. So example is Ichthyostega and Urotiflus. And there is one species which is found in India. You should know its name. Its name is Gigenophis. Write down that this is a small sized Sicilian found in India. This Urotiflus is endemic to Western Ghats. So this is very, very important. Only and only found in the Western Ghat. So elongated body, limbless body, blind body, okay, smooth skin. Example are Gigenophis, Ichthyostega and Urotiflus, apoda, limbless amphibian, present day amphibian. Then the next order is Urodilla or Chordata, and the examples are newts and salamanders and Amphibia, all fall in this category. So write down Urodilla. Example of Urodilla is salamander. Many types of salamander, like the Amphibia. Also called as axolotl. Axolotl. You know why this is famous, axolotl? Why it is famous? Can anybody tell me? The larva of axolotl shows the neoteny. What is neoteny? Yes, the retention of larval character. What is neoteny? The retention of larval character. Retention of larval character. By whom? By an adult. Now this is very important. How adult can show the larval character and how larva can be an adult. These are antonyms. These are inversely proportional. Listen, what is adult? In a biological sense, what is adult? Adult is one who can give birth. And larva is that who have a larval character, like the presence of gills and tail. If someone respire with the help of gills and possessing a tail, then it should be a larva. But if some amphibian have this larval character, that having the tail and respiring with the help of gill, but start reproducing, then it is a neoteny. Then it is a neoteny, the retention of larval character by otherwise an adult. Neoteny. Very, very important. Neoteny and pedogenesis. So this salamander, this Amphibia axolotl larva shows neoteny. Then next is Nectarus. And siren, all these are examples. Siren. Then Amphibia. This nectar is also called as mud puppy. Mud puppy. Lives in the muddy bank of the river. Mud puppy. In the muds, in swampy area. Siren. Then Amphibia. So these are the present day amphibian. Then there are many, if you want to write Proteus, then Cryptobranchus, so these are few of the Urodila chordate. Then come to the next order, and the order is Anura. Next order is Anura. And Anura, in the Anura we have very well known all the toads and all the frogs. What is difference between frog and toad? One of the basic question. This is a question of 8th class standard. You know? What is the difference between frog and toad? Anyone? Listen. Frog is found near the bank of the river, but toad we can found in the arid situation also, arid environment also. So what actually we see is actually a toad, not a frog. Frog is aquatic. Toad is terrestrial. Got my point? The leg of the frog is suitable for the jumping. The leg of the toad is suitable for the walking, not for the jumping. The skin of the frog is smooth because it is aquatic, slimy. But the skin of the toad is warty, है ना, having warts. जिसको बोलते हैं ना, थोड़े से ऐसे घूमरे टाइप होते हैं. So this is rough and warty. So that is the difference between the frog and toad. So you can write few name of the frog and toad, like Rana tigrina. What is the name? Rana tigrina. Which is also called as Indian bullfrog. Then next is Hyla. This is very famous. Tree frog. Then Bufo, which is common toad. Bufo, common toad. Then Philobatus. 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 Why it is famous? Because it have poisonous skin. You know, it has poisonous. So this is the basic classification of class Amphibia. But we have to study all the fossils. After the Tiktaalik Rosier, we have not studied fossils. So we will now study all the fossils step by step. First Acanthostega, then Ichthyostega, then Ventostega, then the Butneria and Ariops and Cocops and all. So let's start now. So far I am hard working and you are hardly working. Now you have to equally work hard. So keep on drawing. Now we will come to the fossils. So we have already come across the Tiktaalik rosier. From now onwards, we will do only the fossils. You keep on writing. I will keep on drawing. And you have to write all the character around that diagram. So that when you will see the diagram, the all character will be visible. And you are also provided with the notes. So with having the full and detailed notes and the diagram which I will going to draw along with the character that I am going to explain, you will be ready to understand each and every concept. So write down Acanthostega, write down Acanthostega. Very famous fossil, and the species is Gunneri. You should remember all these names, Acanthostega, Gunneri. Now this fossil was found in 1980 from Greenland. In 1980, this fossil was found from the Greenland. Have you noticed one thing? Why you are finding all the fossil from these regions like Arctic Canada and America and Greenland? Why not from India and Africa? The main reason is once upon a time, this all continent was a single land, and they were the temperate, they were the tropical region of the world at that time. Whole Canada was tropical. Whole Sahara was like a huge swamp. Whole this Greenland was a tropical part, humid, lot of rainfall. Got my point? But then they got separated and they reached to the present day situation, present day position. And now they are under the depth of the ice and hence they are preserved. Otherwise, you just think that all the amphibians are cold-blooded. How they can be survive in such a chilling places like Canada or Arctic part or the Greenland? It's almost impossible. But because once upon a time they were the tropical part and then they drifted towards the present day situation position and they got preserved under the ice. Hence we found fossil there as a preserved unit. So this fossil was found in the Greenland in 1980. It is more like a fish. More like a fish. It's not like the Tiktaalik rosier. But it is one of the important fossils. In fact, before 2004, when the Tiktaalik rosier was not discovered, this was the only fossil which we were thinking that it is a connecting link between the crossopterygii fishes, then Eusthenopteron, then Acanthostega, then Ichthyostega, and then present day amphibians. But now the gap is filled and we found that crossopterygii fish, Eusthenopteron, then this Tiktaalik rosier, then Acanthostega, and then Ichthyostega. Got my point? So draw the fish-like body, a fusiform body, a fish-like body. A fish-like fusiform body. Having a mouth, and the mouth has what? Labyrinthine teeth, because it belongs to the Labyrinthodontia. So draw the fish-like structure, fusiform structure with teeth, because all these are predator and they prey on the other fish-like organisms. So they need a strong teeth where animal get inside the dentine and make them strong. So these are labyrinthine teeth. Then they have an eye. This is eye orbit. Fusiform body. You can see this body is like a fish. Having, if it is a more like a fish, then it should have a tail. So draw the tail. So it has tail fin or the caudal fin. This is tail fin. This is tail fin. So Acanthostega gunneri, found in 1980 near the Greenland, is more like a fish and having the dermal scales. Now the presence of dermal scale is again a fish character, not the amphibian character. So fish-like body, fish-like tail, caudal tail, and the presence of dermal scales, all these are fish character. The fish-like head, this is not a amphibian-like head, this is not a flat head, so this is fish-like skull. Fish-like skull. It is more like a fish, less like a amphibian. Then it also have what? Gills to respire. So again a fish character. Presence of gills. Then there is a notochord. Then there is a notochord. But this notochord don't have interconnected ribs, which is a testimony of what? That the Tiktaalik rosea was a earth dwelling, land dwelling, but it don't have any interconnected ribs. Instead, it has got the ribs in the form of in the form of short and sharp and pointed rib-like structure that don't form any rib cage. So that is for the sure. If it don't possess any rib cage, so this is scaly, this is pointed and short ribs. So that means it is more like a fish. It was unable to spend time on the land because there was no protective covering around the visceral organ. Hence, it was unable to drag its body on the land. But then it has got a very strong pectoral and pelvic girdle. It got very strong pectoral and pelvic girdle, which shows that it is more like a amphibian, because amphibia have to walk on the land. For that they need strong pectoral and pelvic girdle. So this is strong pectoral girdle. Strong pectoral girdle, and attached to the pectoral girdle there is a limb. There is a limb. There is a limb, but this limb has got what? The plan of tetrapod having one bone, yes, and two bone, radius and ulna, and then there will be many bones. And very interesting that after many bones, we thought we will found 5 digit, 5 phalanges, 5 fingers, but out of surprise, they don't have 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, but they have 8 phalanges. They have 8 phalanges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Make 8 phalanges, 8 fingers. So they have 8 digit, 8 digits in the lobed fin with tetrapod plan. This plan is tetrapod plan. This plan is just like we have 1 bone, 2 bone and many bone, but we have 5 digit. But in the fossil we found that Acanthostega gunneri has 8 digit in the four limb which have a tetrapod plan. Then it has also got the very strong, then it has got a very strong what? Girdle. So write down that it has got a pelvic girdle. And attached to pelvic girdle also there is a limb. And this hind limb has got the same plan which we have in the legs. First there will be femur, then there will be a tibia and fibula, then there will be many tarsal segment, many bones, and then there are 6 digit in the hind limbs. Not 8 but 6 digit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So here you can write that it has got 6 digit in the 6 digit in the, this is what? This is pelvic fin, pelvic lobed fin with tetrapod plan. So having said that, you know, it has also got lungs. So it was respiring from both with the help of lungs and with the help of gills. So the presence of lung, this presence of lung is an amphibian character. This presence of lung is an amphibian character. Then it has also got the nostril. This is nostril. All the position of nostril is not on the top of the head like the true amphibian have, but because it has got the nostril, so this is again an amphibian character. Not the position of nostril but the presence of nostril. Then this tetrapod plan, this tetrapod plan of the forelimb and the hind limb is actually a amphibian character. Fishes don't have this. This is found in the modern day amphibia, the 1 bone, 2 bone, many bone. But the interesting thing is that the present day amphibian are pentadactyly, but they have 8 digit in the front leg or a front limb and the 6 digit in the hind limb. That means that during the course of the evolution, the number of digit, actually we can say that, you know, evolution is experimenting that what should be the way. The evolution has no particular aim. It goes in all direction. It tries in all direction. And then the nature selected what adaptation is more situated and suitable to the prevailing condition. So the 8 digit in the lobes was not preferred and the 5 digit were preferred. Hence the present day amphibian have pentadactyly, not the 8 digits. Got my point? So this was very, very interesting fossil, Acanthostega gunneri, one of the link between the amphibian origin and evolution, and it has 8 digit in the forelimb and the 6 digit in the hind limb. But there is an interesting thing, and the thing is that there is no joint between these, you know, bones. So it cannot move its wrist, it cannot move its elbow like the Tiktaalik rosier. That again prove that although it has got the tetrapod plan, but it cannot drag its body on the land. To keep and to drag the body on the land, you need a movable joint. So this is Acanthostega. Okay, the connecting link, very famous, you know, fossil, but scientists were amazed to found that there is no joint, movable joint between these bones. Acanthostega gunneri. Now write down the next fossil. We will Go for the next fossil and its name is Ichthyostega. Next fossil is Ichthyostega, having the skull more like a fish and less like a amphibian. Ichthyostega. So draw the Ichthyostega. Name of the specimen is Ichthyostega. This fossil is near about 365 million years ago. And this fossil was again found in the Greenland in 1932. In 1932, we found this fossil from the Greenland. Got my point? And it has got a head more like a fish with a prominent eye. With the prominent eye and having the labyrinthine teeth. That's why it is in the Labyrinthodontia. This head is fish-like with the prominent eyes and having the labyrinthine teeth. But again the body is fish-like. Why? Because it has got the caudal fin and the caudal tail and like that. Little bit of body is arched. You know what is the meaning of arched? The body is little bit arched. So this is an arched body. आपने कभी seal को चलते हुए देखा है? Have you ever noticed the movement of seal? Seal move like this, not the undulatory movement, but up and down, up and down, up and down. Its body is also like that. This is an arch body for up and down movement like a seal, arched body or arched back for the up and down movement, of body. Now here you will find the columbella. What is columbella? Do you know what is columbella? Try to grasp the concept. We know that fishes have fins, fishes have gills. Now gills have gill arches to providing it support. To provide the support to the gills have gill arches. Now one of the bone of the gill arch, the second gill arch called as a hyomandibular bone, is turned into the columbella. Now what is a columbella? Columbella is a small bone that is present in the middle ear, like we have a stapes and incus and malleus. So in this amphibian, because now they are on the land, so if they are in the land, they have to listen, they have to produce sound. The anura produces the vocal cords for the first time. They have a proper vocal cords. With that they can produce the sound, but then they also should have ears to listen that sound. So the hyomandibular branch, hyomandibular bone of the second, this branch is converted into the columbella and forms the middle ear. Now the tympanum leads to the columbella, which enhances the sound frequency, and then it reaches to the inner ear, which is for the balancing. The inner ear is for the balancing. Got my point? So you will found the columbella. Then you will found a very, very strong, one of the strongest so far in all the fossils. You will found a very strong what? The pectoral girdle, very strong pectoral girdle with a plan which is like a tetrapod. Then you will find a notochord, and it is covered with the overlapping broad interlocking rib cage. That means this Ichthyostega was able to come on the land and spend some good time because it has a rib cage to protect its internal organ. And it has also got the arched back for the lateral undulation. But it has got a fish-like body and a tail like a fish. So it has got a caudal fin. It has got a caudal fin. It has got a tail fin or the caudal fin. Here you will find, this is very interesting, that here you will find the what? Pectoral girdle. Here you will find the pectoral girdle along with these tetrapod plant. But the interesting thing is that in the fossil, this further part is missing. So we don't know whether there are 8 digits or 4 digits or 5 digits. We don't know because in the fossil it is missing. So fossil don't depict whether there is a pentadactyly or a hexadactyly or what. But then we have a hind limb which again has a pelvic girdle. And the pelvic girdle has a lobed fin having the tetrapod plan, and this part is totally conserved, and it follows the same rule. One bone, which is the femur, then there will be 2 bones which is equivalent to tibia and fibula, then there will be many bones, and then we will find that there are 5 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is hind limb. This is, we can say, pelvic fin with tetrapod plant. So this again shows that this is somewhere the intermediate between the amphibian and the fish character, because its head like a fish, its the body is like a fish, the caudal fin is like fish, this lobe fin is like a fish but having the tetrapod plan, and this rib cage shows, this presence of the rib cage shows that it spent a good time on the land, because you will find the rib cage only on the land dwelling animals. Now in this animal, this Ichthyostega, the gills are absent. So gills are absent, but lungs is there. So it respires through the lungs, and it walks like the modern day seal and dolphin do, and up and down movement because of the arched back. So this is again a very important fossil from the Greenland in 1932, Ichthyostega. Then come to the next fossil. And the next fossil is, now we will not draw the Ventostega because we have already drawn the what? Tiktaalik rosier. Then we have also drawn the Acanthostega gunneri. We also in detail studied about the Acanthostega, Ichthyostega. So there is no need to draw the Ventostega. Now come to the rachitomy and draw the huge, Ariops and Cocops. So write down Ariops. Brachytomy, example is Eriops and Cocops, huge amphibians, just like the frog and toads, and they were the only predators of their time and got a chance to feed plenty and become huge and giant. These are giant carboniferous amphibians, more like a frog, present day frog. So, so we will draw the cocops. And this cocops has labyrinthine teeth. That's why it is in the Labyrinthodontia temnospondyli. So it has got labyrinthine teeth. So this is labyrinthine. Then they have a prominent eye. So draw the eye. Here you will find a eye. Then they have a nostril. So this is eye. This is nostril. And they have a very interesting character. One of the character is very interesting, that they have shell on their body. Although they are amphibian, but they have a shell-like body that was found in the fossil. The fossil we found have a shell, and then the rest of the body is like a present-day amphibian with a short tail. They have a short tail, and then they have a legs. One, two, three, four, five, and then they have a forelimb also with 4 digits, and the hind leg have a 5 digits. 5 digit, 4 digit, huge amphibians, frog-like amphibians, cocops having size of 5 to 6 feet. 5 to 6 feet. Top carnivore, top predators with the heavy limbs. These limbs are heavy. Heavy limbs. Heavy limbs, heavy forelimbs, heavy hind limbs, having a thick short tail, and the tail has got chevron bone. Tail has got chevron bone. This chevron bone is a white shaped bone found in reptilia. So you notice one thing, that during the evolution of amphibian, few reptilian character also start appearing. So we found chevron bone in the tail, having the labyrinthine teeth with the prominent eye and the nostril, and very unusual shell, thick short tail, and the chevron bone and the heavy limbs. Chevron bone is found in the tail of the reptiles, not the amphibian. But for the first time, we notice that there is a chevron bone. So because, as I told you, the Carboniferous period was a period of plenty, so these amphibians get lot of chance to feed on other insects and other, these molluscans and annelids. They have a very strong jaws with the labyrinthine teeth, so they become the dominating predators of the Carboniferous period. Next, we have to draw the stereospondyli, and the example is Butneria. They are again frog-like, having a tail Can I rub this? Okay. Butnaria. So we have a long tail with the digits more like a frog-like body. Again, digits. So this will be the forelimb. And then there will be hind limbs. And the limbs, especially the hind limbs, are webbed. The hind limbs are webbed. So you will find a webbing in the hind limbs. So within the, these digits, they have a flaps. So you can write the webbed toes. Webbed toes. This is the largest amphibian we found, near about 6 to 8 feet long, with the prominent eyes. With the prominent eyes. And the nostrils. So this is a flat tail with webbed toes, 6 to 8 feet long, and having the dermal scales. Having the dermal scales. So, and having the flattened tail here. So if the tail is flattened, then it must be used for the swimming. So it was aquatic. Flattened tail, webbed toes. Okay. And it is more like aquatic organism. Aquatic organism, but having the amphibian character to escape from the predator. So with the help of these webbed toes, it can swim, but then it can also come on the land. Huge body, 6 to 8 feet, and limb are strong so that it can come on the land and get rescue from the predators. Escape from the predators. Got my point? So this is our Butnaria. Make it. Then we will go for the next fossil, which is what? Eogyrnus, the dawn of the tadpole. So you have to draw all these fossils, Ichthyostega, Acanthostega, Butnaria, Ariops, Cocops, and then you have to draw the. Can I rub this?
Yes.
हाँ, आज अच्छा लग रहा है क्योंकि आपको भी उतना ही काम करना पड़ा. Otherwise, whole responsibility was on my shoulder. Now you are equally participating. Okay. So our next fossil is what? Eogyrnus. Our next fossil is of Eogyrnus. Now this Eogyrnus belonging to the Embolomori. This Eogyrnus is small, lizard-like, having the prominent eyes and of course the labyrinthine teeth and there will be webbed toes. There will be webbed toes in both the legs, in both the limbs, and then its body have a tail like a tadpole. So this is tail fin, and these are webbed toes. The toes are webbed. These are webbed toes. This is small lizard-like organism having webbed toes and 5 digits. These digits are 5 digits. Flattened tail. This tail is flattened. Flattened tail. And the nostril. So this is a small lizard-like organism, not of big size, but this is very, very important because this give rise to what? Anthracosaurida. This give rise to Anthracosaurida. So that's why it is a very, very important. Got my point? So we have completed the cocops, we have completed the Butnaria, we have completed the Eogyrannus. Now come to we have completed the complete Ichthyostega. Okay, we have completed entire order Ichthyostega. Now come to the subclass Lipospondyli, and there we will draw what? Diplocolus. So draw the next fossil, and its name is Diplocolus, having the head like a boomerang. So this is quite an interesting fossil from the category Lipospondyli, having the scale vertebrae. So today we will study each and every fossil that is related to the origin and evolution of amphibia. Now come to the Lipospondyli, and the example is Diplocolus. What is the meaning of diplo and what is colus? Diplo means double. Diplo means double, and colus matlab stem. So they have actually horn-like skull. Horn-like skull, having two-sided. So make a boomerang like a head. So this is very, very interesting. So its head is quite a bizarre shape with the prominent eyes and the nostrils, but it has got a tubular horn of the skull, which give it like a boomerang like shaped skull. So we found a fossil, quite an interesting fossil, not of big size, near about 70 centimeter to 1 meter. 70 centimeter to 1 meter size. having the tail and the tail fin, caudal fin, which is laterally compressed. It is laterally compressed. This is tail fin. This is tail fin, and then it has got two limbs. And this is very, very important. Why it is important? Because this is the ancestor of what? Limbless amphibian. Ancestor of Apoda. This give rise to Apoda. This skin is smooth. Smooth skin. This is the tubular horn of the boomerang type skull, Diplocolus. This is very, very unique in the vertebrate paleontology because of its shape. So this is all about the Diplocolus, and this belong to what? Lipospondyli. The category is Lipospondyli. Lipospondyli. The example is Diplocolus. Species is Diplocolus. This is genus Diplocolus. So now we are in the position that we have studied each and every fossil in detail, each order, each subclass. We have a complete picture of all the valid fossils that are needed to complete our answer. We have drawn the Ichthyostega, the Tiktaalik rosier, then Acanthostega, then Ichthyostega, then Cocops, then Butneria, then Diplocolus. Okay, and then we have a present day amphibian. Now we are in a position to draw the evolutionary tree. Now you will understand that why we put so much hard work to draw each and every fossil, because we have to make an evolutionary tree, and in the evolutionary tree we have to write the name of the example. So you will have a complete picture, but before that we should understand that why the amphibian comes to the land. What were the conditions which propel these fish-like structures, fish-like specimens, fish-like creatures to come on the land? So write down the heading, why amphibian evolved. Write down, this is very important. In your answer you should tell that why amphibians evolved in the very first place. What were the conditions? So our heading will be why amphibian evolved, because nobody want to evolve. Nobody want to evolve. Everybody want to be in their comfort zone. Animal evolve only when the condition pushes them to evolve. So it has been said that there was a period which is called as a Silurian period. In the Silurian period there were no land plant. Then the Silurian period gave rise to Devonian period. Devonian period. And the Devonian period was of 380 million years ago, near about 380 MYA. This Devonian period was the period of fishes. Period of fishes. But amphibians start developing at the same time in the Devonian period. And when the Devonian period gave rise to Carboniferous period, which was near about 320 million years ago. This is 320 million year ago. And the Carboniferous then leads to the Permian, which is 280 million year ago. Then between the Devonian period and the Carboniferous period, that means between 320 to 380 million year ago, there is a gap which is called as a Romer's gap. This is very important. Write down. There is a gap which is called as a Romer's gap. Exactly between 360 to 345 million year ago. Between the 360 to 345 million year ago. So it is of near about 10 to 15 million year ago. So this Romer's gap of 10 to 15 million years is actually was the period where there was a very less oxygen in the environment. This Romer's gap, scientists found that this Romer's gap was the period of near about 10 to 15 million years, where suddenly on the earth the oxygen level goes very down, so much so that it compelled the fishes to come on the land, and they develop lungs. They start developing lungs. Why? Because in the water there is very less oxygen, and we have a 21% oxygen on the land. So plenty of oxygen is there on the land. It compels the fishes to come on the land because of the Romer's gap, where we found the concentration of oxygen drastically reduces because of earthquakes. And because of the lava production and the harmful gases that come on the land, we have a scientifically proof that during this period, this very, very critical period of 10 to 15 million years, there was a drastic reduction in the oxygen concentration and the lungs develop. And the very interesting thing is, this is very, very interesting, that lungs develop 60 times. 60 times, about 60 times independently. During the evolution. That means that's the production of many digits and this formation of lung was independently happening in all direction. The evolution was working in the all direction. And then the crossopterygeny fishes, the name of the fish is crossopterygy. Crossopterygy. Fishes compel to give rise to the Labyrinthodontia. Which give rise to present day amphibians. So in your answer you have to also write that what were the conditions that compel the fishes to come on the land. And the situation were that during the Devonian period to the Carboniferous period, there was a gap which is called as a Romer's gap of near about 10 to 15 million years, where the concentration of oxygen reduces to such a level that it is almost hard to respire inside the water. So there was a greater benefit if an animal come on the land and they start developing lungs, and few crossopterygy fishes start turning. Crossopterygy fishes are actually the lobed fin fishes. Crossopterygy means lobed fin. Crossopterygy. So few lobed fin fish give rise to Labyrinthodontia, and the Labyrinthodontia give rise to Amphibia. Now, after that much background, we are at last in the position to draw and project our entire classification on the evolutionary tree with the geological time scale. But before that, have a 5 minute gap and rest. So, dear student, with this much amount of background knowledge, now we are in condition to make a evolutionary tree where we will project the entire classification, as I already mentioned to you, with the geological time scale. So I have prepared this geological time scale. Now we will project the entire classification on the evolutionary tree. We will make a evolutionary tree. Now you all know that the geological time scale is divided into era, periods, and then eons and epochs and periods and like that. Now, as far as our question is concerned, that origin and evolution of amphibia, we will deal with only this time scale. So there are three eras: the Paleozoic era, the Mesozoic era, the Cenozoic era. The present day era is the Cenozoic era. The Cenozoic era is divided into two, quaternary, and this stands for the quaternary. And the Paleozoic era is divided into Devonian period, where the cross-pterygian fishes start developing the lobe fin and the origin of amphibia starts. So our story, our evolutionary tree will start from the Devonian period, then Carboniferous period, then the Permian period, then the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. So now we will project the classification on the evolutionary tree, and then we have to, like this, we have to start from the Prosopterygi fish. That there were a lobed fin fish which give rise to one branch, give rise to Eusthenopteron, which later on give rise to Latimeria through the coelacanth. So the evolution take place that one branch of the Prosopterygi fish that have a lobe fin start developing the lungs and all the prerequisite for the land adaptation, that they develop the lungs and they have a lobed fin whose the internal anatomy is more like a tetrapod, that they develop the limbs with the exact plan of one bone, two bone, many bone, and the phalanges. So this Prosopterygi, one of the branch give rise to Eusthenopteron, which then give rise to coelacanth and the Latimeria. Then the another branch give rise to Dipterus, which then give rise to Dipnoi, that modern day lungfish. And this is clearly visible that the lungfish has nothing to do with the direct evolution of the amphibia. They are completely different and separate branch. And similarly, this coelacanth Latimeria, although very similar and supposed to be, previously it was supposed that it has some direct link with the evolution of the amphibia. But right now we know that one branch separately gave rise to Latimeria, but it was actually the Labyrinthodontia. The group name was the Labyrinthodontia, which give rise to modern day amphibians. Like one branch, which is called as a Lipospondyli, give rise to present day Apoda. Now you understand what is Lipospondyli. Otherwise, without the understanding of Lipospondyli or all the other groups, we can't understand what is happening. So it is necessary that first we understand the classification, then we will draw the evolutionary tree. So one branch, which is called as a Lipospondyli, give rise to the present day limbless amphibian, which is Apoda. The another branch, if you can see the another branch in the Permian period, bifurcate into two branches. This group is called as the Phylospondyli, and one branch give rise to present day Urodila, which is the tailed amphibian, and the another branch give rise to Anura, which are the modern day tail-less amphibian, the frog and toad. Together, if you go through your notes, if you go through your classification, you will get to know that the Phylospondyli and the Lipospondyli together, they are in the Lis amphibia. So they are the present day amphibian. All are get extinct. Like one of the Labyrinthodontia branch give rise to Rachytomi, and we have a extinct fossil Eriops and Cocops that are got extinct in the Triassic period. Okay, in the Triassic mass extinction, they got extincted. So we have studied Eriops and Cocops. Then one of the branch, which is the Stereospondyli, give rise to Butneria, and that is also extinct in the Triassic period, in the Triassic mass extinction. Then one of the branch give rise to Eogyrannus, which get survived the Permian mass extinction and reach to the sea Moria, which is a connecting link between the amphibia and the reptilia. This branch somehow survived the Permian mass extinction and reached up to the reptilia. And remember this Labyrinthodontia, which was, originated in Devonian period. We have studied all the fossils. The representative are Tiktaalik rosy, the Acanthostega, Ichthyostega, and the Ventostega. We also know that the Rachitomi, Stereospondyli, and this Embelomeri, they constitute a single group which is called as a Temnospondyli. So with this, if you are able to project the entire classification on the evolutionary tree with the geological time scale and the correct time period, your teacher will be get impressed. And this is the way you should write the origin and evolution of amphibia. Got my point? So thank you so much for your cooperation and hope